there, YouTube. I'm back again today with my amazing wife, Melina, for a tag team Kickstarter critique. Bam! And I am very excited to be checking out, we are very excited to be checking out the fourth most popular project on all of Kickstarter, but also games. That is Edge of Darkness, Emissaries of the Vale expansion, the latest expansion for John D. Clair's, the card drafting game, funded. So first and foremost in the main image, I hate the funded. We know, we can see, we all know you're funded. You don't need to put that. But I do want to say, this one has a little bit of a interesting story because I was going to list it on Board Game Geek, and it's not on Board Game Geek yet, which I feel like is a poor choice. And I know there's like a big clog right now at Board Game Geek where it takes way longer than it normally does to get your games, to get your videos up. But still, by having it up on Board Game Geek, and this being a game that's very highly praised, like this is in the game number 1200 of tens of thousands of games, I think it's just a little bit of a misstep to launch before that's on there, because then you could potentially get on the hotness list, you know, this left spot over here, which can bring a lot of people to your Kickstarter project. So I thought it was really interesting that a big company would launch without it being on Board Game Geek, but it's already raised $166,000, 8 days left to go, they're running a small expansion, and so when we get into projects like this, there's two people you have to appeal to. And there's people that haven't played the game, but have heard of the game, because this is a very popular game. And Melina, you don't know anything about this game, right?
Nope.
So you're coming in this with completely fresh eyes. Are they going to wow you? Which I'm excited to see. But you need to be appealing to people who want the game, plus want to get the expansion. So the big whale, which you're hoping they'll do, because they're going to print, you know, essentially another print run of this off this expansion, most likely. Or appealing to the core audience. And I hope they don't just appeal to the core audience, because a lot of times when we get projects like this, they appeal too much to the core audience and not enough to those new people who might be down to splunk $150, $200 on it. So I feel like not having the time length, the player count, and the age right here is not a good choice. I think you should always have that listed up front. I feel like that'd be way better than this right here. But as always, let's click on it. Let's check it out. It's a project we love, so good for them. So when we go into the video, and I feel like I'm talking to you and talking to them. It's so weird. There's always three things that I'm looking for in a Kickstarter page. I think these are the most important three things that you as a Kickstarter creator always have to do. Do I want it? You got to convince people that they want it. You have to convince people that you can do it, and then you have to convince them, well, how much it is. So as always, we go into the video looking for those three things. Let's go. Start with a quote. Okay. Wow. So that's a big quote right there. And I gotta say, I love starting with the quote at the beginning, so they're immediately, like, if you saw this and you were like, should I get this game? You know, that, I feel like that's a good quote right there.
They're pulling you in.
Yeah, and Rondo is a needle mover in our industry. So I think that is spectacular starting with that. They're appealing to the newer fans, the people who are not going to be just buying the expansion.
Designed by John D. Clair, one of the hottest designers working today.
Stop it! That is so well done, AEG. The tip of the hat, because a lot of companies will have big names. They'll have big names that are like, and they'll lean too much on that big name and not enough on the fact that people don't actually know what that big name means. They just, and so showing off.
I need to be able to associate him with the other games that he has made. Because
as a casual gamer, you know, you probably know some of these games. Not you, but, well, actually, you probably heard Space Base, because I've talked about it before, how much I want to get.
Yeah, you talked about Space Base a lot.
So listing this, I think, is just top-notch. Like, AEG right now, I feel like, is crushing it just in the first 15 seconds on, can you do it? Yes. Because these are all AEG games, so I know you can do it, I know the designer can do it, and do I want it? I'm already excited.
AEG, one of the most trusted names in tabletop gaming.
So good.
Comes Emissaries of the Vale, an Edge of Darkness expansion. Long ago, Aegis lost contact with the Mystic Vale, a natural wonderland ruled by stoic druids. Recently, contact has been re-established, but the Vale is not what it used to be.
So I'm not a fan of this. I always say I think the best way to do it, because this video is supposed to be just grab you by the balls and just say, back this right now. And when you go heavy into theme, I think it's also important to connect heavy themeness with gameplay and mechanisms, because I know that this game has, like, when you see what this game actually looks like, I think you're just gonna be like, wow, that looks incredibly complex and interesting. And I feel like they should be combining that in with this integration of the theme as well. What do you think, though?
But right now, I'm just assuming that they're continuing a story that I know nothing about.
Okay. How does that make you feel?
Just fine, because it's fine.
Okay.
I have no issues with it.
Okay. Big issues here. Just kidding.
The vibrant lands and ancient cultures are under threat from a dark force. Pure evil is attempting to sever the people of the Vale from the land, the very manner upon which their culture relies. Interlopers have arrived, bent on the destruction of ley lines and other key sources of druidic power. In the outer reaches of the Vale, the residents have become twisted versions of their old self.
Okay, so what I'm talking about is, like, so if that is referencing to cards, like people in the game, I'd love to see the cards, see, like, what they do differently. Like, why do I want this expansion?
But you already know the game.
I don't. I've never played the game.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, that's different.
But I want to know, like, I feel like they're just not spotlighting.
No, but you're also in the hobby, like, fully immersed.
Yes.
I'm on the outskirts.
Yes.
Now, the storytelling, for me, like, I'm starting to lose interest.
Exactly.
So
That's
I'm hoping
perfect.
they're wrapping it up.
Yes. Once again, but if they were showing you some of these components that you're going to see, and you're going to be like, wow. Because I'm going to guess there's, like, yeah, let's get there.
Just let it play.
I don't do that. I talk a lot.
What is in store should the invaders reach the heart of the Vale? This all sounds eerily familiar to you. It's the Blight. Just in another form.
Okay, so that seems like a direct reference to someone who's already played through these expansions and knows what the Blight is. And that's my biggest core disconnect right here, is because I said I feel like the best way to do it is to appeal to both those audiences. And I feel like the first 15 seconds massively appealed to that audience that hasn't played the game, and then this is just completely focusing on the people that have played the game. And I feel like you could...
But, hold on. From my in my brain, why wouldn't they be focusing on the people that have played the game and the expansions, because it's an expansion?
Because when I hear there's a new Dominion expansion, do I care anything about that Dominion expansion at all? Do I just want it?
Okay, that's true. But I mean, they're trying to sell you on the expansion to an already existing game. If you're interested in the already existing game, you're going to go buy and play that game first before even thinking about backing this. Before even...
So Kickstarter's a whole different world, as you're going to see in the prices. I feel like most people don't play the majority of Kickstarter games they get, and they just keep buying more, and they cost about $150 to $250 generally to get all in. Typically, what I've seen is the primary buying habit. So I'm going to make a bold prediction that the most popular pledge level here is not well, actually I can't even make that. We'll talk. So we'll finish the video.
Just play.
You'll need to learn.
There we go.
Just druid magic by tapping into the mana around you and channeling that force into...
So this is what I want. I'm seeing a bunch of different cards with gorgeous artwork and diverse cards. Like, that's one thing that I want to specifically note. These cards don't look, like they do the same things. They look like they have different things, different triggers.
Emissaries of the Vale is the latest expansion to Edge of Darkness, AEG's card-crafting, worker placement game of power, politics, and combat.
So this is... Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. If they could have interweaved this sort of thing with that theme, it would have made the theme so much more interesting to get through, I think, for both new people and for people who are a fan of the original thing. Because and then this shot.
Emissaries of the Vale is a must-get expansion that opens up the game with all new locations, contacts, and threats.
Okay, so here's the other thing. I think that 5-second snippet is more exciting to people who have played the original game and want this than all that theme. Because
probably.
Because I
can see that.
And that's why I always make that point. It's just like, get down to business, because there's, you're number 4 right now. But you could just as easily be ranked 104, because it goes that far down. And it's like, it's just, you gotta grab people.
If you're new to Edge of Darkness, now is the time to get on board. We've put together an amazing deal just for you, containing not only Emissaries of the Vale, but the...
I love this. Oh my god, they gave me the price! Be still my beating heart. They typically do not do this. I want this to be industry standard. I think it's so beautiful. And they're also doing something that GameFound does that Kickstarter does not do, where they are spotlighting the pledge. Like, the pledge that you need to do if you're like most people and don't own the original copy of the game.
So you get all of these for that price.
Kickstarter versions of each previous Edge of Darkness release as
That is huge. That is absolutely massive, because that means you're getting all the stretch goals, all the goodies, all the expansion, all the little promos, all of the all. You are going to be an Edge of Darkness completionist. You will have every single thing for the game, which, I mean, you're not a collector like I am, but that's just so appealing. Like, you could, I mean, I think you could understand that, though. Like, let's think of how much would you like our Pandemic collection better if it had everything? Like, it was just like, we could play every single, like, it's just cooler.
It is. I agree.
But spotlighting that, top notch.
well. Don't miss out. Back Emissaries of the Vale now.
Okay, but here's the other thing. You even said it yourself. You were starting to get a little bit bored with just the theme. And
yeah, but I also wonder if it's because you kept pausing it, so I couldn't sit through it from the get-go and just see how long my attention span would last.
I think that's part of the reason why I do talk so much, is because I get bored quickly, and so then I pause things to make sure, oh, don't get bored, audience, I'll talk. But I wonder how many people didn't get to this point in the video. Like, how many people didn't get to this sexy scrolling shot of you showing me things? I wish it was showed a little bit slower in the price. And most importantly to this, like...
I mean, it's only a 2-minute video. It's 2 minutes and 24 seconds. It shouldn't... It should hold your interest.
That's an eternity in Kickstarter time. You know, it's not that bad. I take that back. I just have attention deficit hyper disorder. I think it comes through. So, 2,078 backers. I'm very interested to see which audience they appeal to more, because you can always tell by how many people backed just the expansion and how many people backed the big one. But as always, I normally check here to make sure it's not a flaming dumpster fire in the comments and the updates, but it's freaking AEG. Do I really need to? Like, you know AEG, top notch. So this is out. This is their new thing. This one I don't know necessarily is out, and they use it for some of them much more like a pre-order system. Like the big game night was just a straight up pre-order pretty much, which I don't have an issue with. But can you do it? Over-resounding, yes. And they did that at the very beginning of the video. Do I want it? Yes. I feel like the last part of that video sold me on it. And just the buzz. You know, honestly, the first 15 seconds and then the last minute, I think, were just the best. Like, they were really, really objectively good. Like those could be in any video, and I think they'd be spectacular. The latest expansion for John Dees and Clair's hit card crafting game, Emissaries of the Vale. And so this is also #1 game to get Gen Con 2009. I honestly think that this should be the main image. And so let me know what you think about that, dear. Because we're trying to find the I'm trying to find the format of how we do this, bounce off each other, because I'm just so used to bouncing off each other. So I'm sorry if I'm bouncing weirdly, but this is the main image. Do you think that
what is the main image?
The main image is the this one, which right there. So it's just funded, Edge of Darkness, some small text talking to you about it, as opposed to
I think that other.
Oh my gosh! I like how they're doing this.
That should be the image.
I also think
it gives you the player count, how long it takes, age range, all of that.
Now I don't. I also think that maybe mentioning that there is a pledge level where you can get quite literally everything is an appealing thing to have on there as well. I know you're tight for space on the front, but I think this is a really rock solid one, especially at $189. Like, that's one of those prices that I would honestly put right at the front door at the beginning of the video, because that's a spectacular price in Kickstarter world. Like, that's, wow, my left ear just did something weird, and that's actually my right ear. Like, I think that's such a good price that I would spotlight that a little bit more. But that, okay. So, anywho, a solid 9 out of 10. Okay, Tantrum House, top 10 game of 2019. Vindijuhu, 8.5 out of 10. A solid 9 out of 10. Really enjoyed this one. The choice in this game, all feel meaningful, broken meeple. And that's a great quote as well. And I do like this nice scrolling thing here, quoting, because once again, do I want it? Can you do it? How much is it? They're answering that. And then here we go. We see a bunch. Is this the components for everything in the expansion? I'd like to see this zoomed in. I don't like these long outward shots. And hopefully they do have the long, sexy scrolling shot, which is the industry standard.
Yeah,
and then,
how are you going to get everything in that shot? That's a lot of stuff.
They do. It is the industry standard. They do it so it's like
I
you
know,
go
but
left
from
to
a
right.
photography standpoint, it's really hard to get a zoomed-in shot of that. But that's a lot of stuff.
Oh, I'm assuming they just do it all in the back end with graphic design. I think it's more of a graphic design thing than a photography thing. Yeah, you couldn't get like a shot that was just like that. At least I don't think so. So then we're focusing on track record of the game, awesome, spectacular, and we have the seal of excellence. Thank you, AEG, for not spotlighting the seal of approval. I see so many people do the Dice Tower seal of approval, and it's just like, why? Why do you do that? That just saying this game is not, it doesn't suck. Like, that's all it says. Like, the excellence, though. And so then we have, Spotlight, how to play, spectacular, 736, really? Really? Am I going to know exactly how to play in 736? I don't think so. So I don't like spotlighting those videos particularly. And I know they paid tons of money for this video. Like, this video cost them literally over $1,000, I'd be willing to guarantee you. Somewhere in that range. Because this is big time right here. This is 2.1 million subscribers. So they paid a hefty... So I understand why it's here, but am I really going to know exactly how to play in 736? It's just... Yeah, I don't know. Emissaries of the Vale, only $45, not available in retail, so I like spotlighting the fear of missing out a little bit there. Learn the way of the druidic magic, 12, and so this, yeah, okay, so now they have it. This is the long, sexy scrolling shot I was talking about, where they spotlight all the components, and these see-through things that are so cool.
The other one was just, hey, look at everything that's there.
Okay.
And I don't see anything wrong with that.
Which one do you like better?
Why can't they do it the way that they did it, where it was just, hey, look, this is everything that's included, and then we eventually get to this where you get to see everything. The other one's meant to grab your attention. Look at all that stuff I get in that box.
I don't feel that way, though. Like, I see that,
You don't, but that's what it's supposed to be for.
It does, but I think as a gamer, I see lots of stuff with tons of components. I'm getting rid of so many games that just have a bunch of crap in the box. I kind of want to see...
Yeah, but if to your point earlier about them trying to grab new people into their game, this is appealing to me.
Is it more...
I want to know how much I'm getting in this box and that I'm not just getting a deck of cards that, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm not just getting something skimpy for $189 if I buy all of it.
I see that perspective, but I look at this from a gamer's perspective of this being a medium weight game, and I want to know what the cards say.
But you made the point, and they get into that, but you made the point earlier about wanting to grab a new audience.
Yes, but that new audience isn't...
And that is what I am speaking to. From a new audience perspective, somebody that doesn't necessarily play a lot of games.
Oh.
That maybe is on the outskirts, maybe trying to dig into the hobby.
Okay. I get exactly what you're saying now.
That's a very appealing shot. They're trying to cover their bases here, and I think they're doing a great job at it.
And that is where you and I understand what you're saying, but I look at this from a marketing perspective, and I have seen time and time and time again, new people are not coming to Kickstarter typically. You're not, like, you need to market to the board game audience, and this one right here says 7 new backers, 2,072 returning backers. Which means you really do want to be appealing to people who already are in the board game hobby, especially because this is a huge game. Like I get that. Like I can't see most people who are just newer to the hobby being like, I'm going to start off with this $189 game. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying they're starting off. I'm saying they're. Never mind.
I'm sorry.
You said You were the one talking about the new people coming into the hobby. And how they needed...
Time out. No, I meant new people coming into the game. Sorry if I didn't say that correctly. New people coming specifically into this game who are just like, I've heard of that game. Not new people into the hobby. And if I said it otherwise, yeah, I think that's where the wires got crossed. Okay. Yeah, I mean people who are already in the hobby.
You could have said it correctly. It doesn't mean my brain interpreted it that way.
Okay. I love the dynamic. It's thrown me... We just got an Amazon package. It's throwing me totally for a loop, and I love it. I'm squirming. So I love this shot though, as like, because now I can see like the sleeve through, nice. And I almost would maybe spotlight a little bit more of what this does, like because this is actually sleeves that you sleeve onto your card, and then it changes the card underneath it because now you have the sleeve. Oh, yeah, but did you understand that when just looking at this image?
I would never have known that, but I
You're not
get that too far into it.
She doesn't play very many board games, but I will also say that this is such a unique and rare mechanism that isn't in that many games that I would, like, I think if there was like a moving image of someone sliding one of the cards into there, that would be just so hot right now. Like, just, and then you could just see the card getting modified. Blessing tokens, so this, and then we have the all-in. beautiful. So this is going to be clean and clear over here. Oh my god! No, this is a different thing. Okay, so it's still 3 pledge levels. Love it. So we have 504 people backers going for everything. We have 19 people going for whatever this is, which they didn't actually include, which is odd. Includes all stretch goals and Kickstarter exclusive contents in the Guildmaster Award for the first Kickstarter. You'll be able to add various other Edge of Darkness items in this pledge manager. Hopefully they cover that next. But this, yeah, $189. This is a really good price. Because this is a massive box, and I'm pretty sure these are 3 big box expansions.
Well, especially if you've been thinking about buying it anyway.
Yeah.
And you don't already own it, now you're getting everything.
Yeah, because this is such an easy purchase because of the company. Normally with Kickstarters, there's risk. But with AEG...
They're a solid company.
Yeah, like, there's no risk. You're not like, oh, man, are they actually going to ship it out to me? It's like, no, it's freaking AEG. Of course they're going to. So, I think this is an easy pill to swallow. That price is spectacular. I would almost just have this little image somewhere on that main thing. Because that, $189, like, we're seeing that price every single day, and we're not getting nearly as much as we're getting right there. Catch up with the all-in pledge. Oh, and here we go. You will get the Guildmaster pledge and all stretch goals from the original Kickstarter. So... the Guildmaster pledge.
That's the all-in pledge.
So what is the Guildmaster pledge? No, this is...
I don't know, maybe if you keep scrolling, they'll tell you.
Well, so here's... I always try and figure out what every each pledge level is. So this is if I just want the expansion. This is if I want everything and I have nothing. And then this is the Guildmaster pledge, which is this actual pledge. So, catch you up with the all-in pledge. You will get the Guildmaster pledge and all stretch goals from the original Kickstarter, along with the Emissaries of the Vale, which is... oh, it's one of these expansions, I think. Which maybe was why we... yeah, see? They should zoom into that a little bit so we can see the name of it.
Edge of Darkness.
I'm going to guess that one's maybe... maybe it's... there are words there. I know there's words. I can't read them. Along with Emissaries of the Vale and both previous expansions, all at a fantastic price. So... oh, wait. So this is not the $125 pledge. So, okay.
No.
I'm a noob.
That was the all-in pledge.
I got lost. All right, so now we...
it even said what it was.
All right, are you ready for this journey? So this is the long, sexy, the scrolling one that I always love. Like, oh, I wish these minis were zoomed in on. I think that's a misstep.
I think that's a great picture of the minis.
But what are they?
Does it matter?
It does.
Why do you have to see each individual thing? That's a lot.
But that's industry standard, though. Like, that's the norm. You normally get you get a close-up of pretty much most components in a game. And that's also so fun, is that you don't know the industry standard because you've never used Kickstarter, and it's like, yeah, this is just...
and to me, that's fine. But I get to see all of the minis. Like, I get to see...
But AEG is one of my favorite companies.
And I've got a pretty decent idea of what they look like.
And I want them to strive for more. I do. So we have the mini board and added expansions. Look at that. Oh, so here's the other thing. I don't like this shot either. Let me know the dimensions of this board. That is, because if this is like a huge board and then these are huge add-ons, I'm like, oh my gosh, look at that sense of theme.
Oh, you're trying to, how much space do I need
to
play this game?
Which is useful, and it also just gets you more excited if these are potentially big. So I think that is a little bit of a misstep there.
Not everybody has a giant table to play games on.
Yeah. 4 player boards upgraded to double thick, and I think that means... and so, yeah, this is why you scroll in on this, because I'm pretty sure these are one of those boards where, like, you could put things into it, and then they won't actually move. You know what I'm talking about? And those are high. I think they're called dual layer boards. And I think that's what they mean by double thick. But once again, zoom in so I can see that. Location boards and associated contact and threats. And cool, I guess. I can't really see because they're not zoomed in.
You need like that magnifying glass that you can, like you hover over it, nice. And it just pops up the bubble with the...
I have never seen that on Kickstarter. I wonder if that's even doable.
If zoom in. I wonder if they can.
All right, so
they probably can't.
I've never seen it on Kickstarter. Card crafting components. So once again, these are where you're going to slide things onto the cards. And here's the big one.
That just looks... I don't even know what a threat tower is, and it just looks cool.
It does. Maybe they should zoom into it a little bit. Maybe you should have a moving picture of you actually putting the cubes down and seeing them come out to the 3 separate areas.
Is it just a dice tower thing?
It's a cube tower where it can go to one of the 3 separate areas, and depending on where it goes, messes with the game, which is, like, that's cool.
That is cool.
And so, like, I feel like moving pictures, which is once again something that's becoming more and more industry standard, I think are great here. Even though this is good, Game tokens, 4 defense track, 30 plastic.
See, now they've got more zoomed in pictures of your tokens and stuff.
Yeah, so this mini is zoomed in, and you can start to see a little bit more of the detail. I'm like, that's a really cool mini. Like,
yeah, but there's only just the 2 of them.
Fair.
I don't think they were thinking of all the other ones, the individual. They probably could have done, like, of the minis, because that's just, like, the turn tracker token and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the minis from earlier, they probably could have done just individual pictures, and then, like, cut them out in, like, Photoshop and just place them there.
Yeah.
So that you had more zoomed in. I get that now.
Yeah, the long, sexy
that
scrolling
makes more
shot.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
Just
and
like
then,
they kind of did here, only I get it. Okay.
Yeah, and then when you start to unlock new like minis
That
and
makes
expansions,
more sense.
you can put that in there and be like, unlocks exclusive Kickstarter. And then it also includes the Guildmaster upgrade pack with additional influence goodwill tokens and an upgraded cloth threat bag. Wow, there's some words there. I'd love to see pictures instead of whatever the hell this is. Like, why would they choose to use this picture?
They showed the threat bag earlier.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, look.
1 leatherette threat bag includes the Guildmaster upgrade pack with additional influence and an upgraded cloth threat bag. But what's the upgraded one?
But they've already probably that only cloth instead of leatherette.
But once again, why not show me? Like, why show me a picture of a freaking plant? Like, what? It's just industry standard.
I guess I just don't see the issue. They're telling you what you're getting.
But I want to see it. It's a visual medium. All right. So this pledge, and then once again, hopefully we have the long, sexy scrolling shot of all the expansions. Because I think if you're going to splunk down $189, I don't think you mind going on the ride and seeing every single thing you're going to do. But it looks like they're going to go with the zoomed out, which I don't think that's a great choice. Because
are the other Kickstarters still available to go look at that if you really wanted to know?
They are, but do you want to make an extra click? When you're on your phone?
Probably not, but I mean, they've got a lot to post in here. Why do they have to go over every single thing that you're getting when there were already Kickstarters covering that?
So that means that I'm expecting. So I'm looking at it from their perspective.
They're giving you an overview.
Okay, they are. But look at this from their perspective. Well, your perspective. Do you want to go make those 3 extra clicks to go look at everything? Like, they could bring it right here, and I want to say...
I also don't necessarily need to see everything that's in all of those boxes that they already did Kickstarters on.
Okay. I do. Well, I mean, as a gamer, I do. And that's the other thing, too, that I feel like is a little bit of a misstep, is if these expansions add some sort of new mechanism, I would always spotlight that. Like, what does this new expansion bring into the game? So I don't particularly like this area. I don't like it at all, and it's just... I want it zoomed in. I'm spending $189. So then we have add-ons. How to choose add-ons. And I like this. This is clean and clear. This is appealing to the 7 people who are new, because most people do know how to use the backer thing. But still, I like having this. I never complain about this, as long as it's not too high. And the other thing that I do want to mention to you, this is not a very long Kickstarter page. I've seen some that I will literally scroll through for 20, 30 minutes. They are so insanely long. So I feel like this is already a tight Kickstarter page, but too tight, actually. So we have the add-ons, the 1950 coins, 50 super premium metal coins, and 3 size linen fashions. Okay, zoomed in enough. So we have the expansion, the expansions, 300 tarot side sleeves. So if you had okay, I like that. The tarot side sleeves. Reviews. Okay, not a fan of this. I think quotes are always nice on this because, but what do I want to see here?
Yeah, but if you want a review of the game, why not include those videos in your Kickstarter?
Industry standard is to have the video and a quote from the video.
Why does it have to be industry standard?
Because that's...
You keep saying industry standard. Why can't they just do what makes sense?
Because... Okay. Why is industry standard industry standard? Because it works.
Why does it have to be industry standard?
It doesn't, and there's things
Who says
that
it can't be done better.
I agree. That's the whole point of this segment. And when we get to the shipping section, I'm going to rail hard as I always do. But there's generally a reason why things are industry standard, and that's because people have said, actually, that's what people like.
Okay, but I want to go check out a review. They've got reviews already posted. I'm gonna click on those videos if I actually want to see a review, because it's already there. It's already in one place.
Okay. I am arguing that this section would be massively better if it had a small snippet compiling, whatever it is, this 25-minute video of what exactly they liked, what mechanisms they like, whatever. So that way I can scroll through this, and instead of actually having to click on this isn't a review. So I do also want to see a gameplay. Is this a gameplay though? It's always important to have a gameplay.
Game the game.
And I will take...
Okay, great. Gameplay video, spectacular. Love seeing that. But I just think quotes are great. You know, because going back, when you saw that quote from Richard, Rondo, you even admitted that was a great quote, right?
It was.
So what if they had that?
It pulled me in.
They had this video right here, and then they had that quote. Are you going to click on that video necessarily? No. But then you scroll down
if
here.
I actually want to watch an actual review of the game, then yeah, I'm going to click on it. That's the whole point.
And I don't think most people do that much research before they do Kickstarters. And
No, but they're giving them the option if they actually wanted to do it.
And
I'm not saying they have to.
And I think the option could be better with a quote on top for the people who don't want to sit through an entire video. You know, because once again,
already got the quotes.
No, there was only two.
They were at the very.
No, there's only two.
That's like the first thing you see.
They didn't mention this guy's quote. They didn't mention his quote.
No, the quotes, like when you first enter the whole thing, you get quotes.
Yeah, there's 3.
Yeah, so?
Well, there's more than 3 videos. One,
if
two, three.
Those were like, if those weren't enough to sell you, then why would you want to see quotes from these people?
Because maybe I really love Joel's Cardboard Corner. And I say, oh, shoot, Joel, they got a Joel quote? Joel thinks it's great? Because I don't know this person. I know this one's clearly paid for. Which, you know, I opened up a can of worms there with the clearly paid for thing. Because you're laughing, but it has been a huge topic in our hobby right now. Yeah, it's been a huge topic. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean there. I think most people do. But I just think it would be better with quotes. Are you disagreeing that it would be better with quotes?
I think that's a lot of extra work for somebody to do that's not necessary.
Well, if you're going to be running a
one quote out of that whole video.
But that's their job. Like, they have, that's
but
like
I
their
don't see
job.
it as necessary. They're saying, hey, here's reviews. They're not necessarily going to go post reviews that aren't highlighting the game in the way that they want. They've already looked at the videos from the reviews.
I want to do more of these videos with you, and I want to show you some of my favorite Kickstarters so you can see how they do it and say, oh, wow, that was really great how they did it. Because, and I'm not trying to say that in like any sort of snarky way, it's just that this is so, like, they have a lot of great stuff here, but it just could be better. And it's, you know, the bottom line is, you know, your projects, this is raising $180,000. That's great. But there's projects right now that are making $1 million. You know, so why wouldn't you do all the little extra things to strive to make that project that might make $1 million instead of $180,000?
Because I don't think a quote on a video that somebody did on the game is going to push you to that $1 million level.
You're correct. But how many other little things have I mentioned? Like, all those little things add up.
But that is one of those little things that isn't going to push you to that. That's not going to push them to that $1 million level. That's not going to be one of those deciding factors. If you're really scrolling through this, you go, oh, hey, there's Joel's got an opinion on this. I know Joel. I trust his opinion. I'm going to click on that video. I want to see what he says about it. Or, you know, any of these other videos. Like, if you're already into board game reviews, if you're scrolling through YouTube on a regular basis, looking at these reviews, and you see somebody whose review that you trust, because it tells you whose it is, it tells you what it is, you know what it is.
Yeah.
You know who it came from. I'm going to click on that because I already know that person.
But here's the thing. I don't think most people do that.
I trust their opinion.
Like, if I see Shut Up and Sit Down give a game amazing quote, I don't think I click on that Shut Up and Sit Down thing. That's why I think the quotes are so important, because I think what you can do with the quote is you can, like, pinpoint specific feelings in a game. Like, let's say that this... So you don't know this person. You might not click on this. But let's just say the quote says, for Get Bit. You remember Get Bit, that game? Mm-hmm. I did a Kickstarter video for it. One of my favorite things about that game is the fact that I can play this with children at any age, and they're always going to have a puncher's chance, which just gives them this immense sense of success and makes this one of the best family games ever. That quote on top of that video, you might not click on my video, but you see that quote and you're going to be like, ooh. You see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you have an extra opportunity to advertise. And then, okay, so I agree because we just gotta. Oh, OBS is successful. I am more likely to buy something that has a review from someone I trust than to go off a quote. And I agree with that 100% as well. I'm in the same boat. Like, if I see certain reviewers and they say, like, this is amazing, and they tell me why, I'm much more inclined to do it. But I also feel like certain quotes can help nudge you towards just overall making the buying decision. Which is, so I don't think this is a bad area.
But if it's
I just
from
want
somebody
quotes.
that you trust already,
Yes.
not from just some random person that you've never heard of.
Well, here's the other thing. How good is this review? Like, did he say it was good or did he say it was great? Because those are two very different things.
Well, if I really want to know, I'm going to click on the video regardless of if there's a quote there or not.
If you really want to know, though, but it's their job, because if you click on that video, you're going to watch it for, what, 5, 10, 15 minutes, then maybe you forget about this Kickstarter page. Like, you're in their store right now. They're like, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this. They don't want you walking out of the store to go to a different YouTube video.
But if I'm already not invested enough to go back to that page to buy it, then they've already lost me way before this.
And I agree 100%, and I wish YouTube would I wish you could see exactly when people stop scrolling on a Kickstarter. I think that would be absolutely fascinating. That behind-the-scenes stuff. I just think quotes would be better. But so we have the shipping down below, and then we're going to talk about something that I hate that is our industry standard, which is putting the shipping all the way at the bottom, because there's three things. Do I want it? Can you do it? How much is it? What? So I want to run this idea by you with fresh eyes. What if the shipping section was right there? Just right underneath where I just got done shopping.
I might stop.
Okay. You're stopping because you're buying, though, right?
No.
Wait, well, what are you doing?
Because if I don't want to pay the shipping, then it's possible that I'll leave.
Okay.
Without making that decision. Without seeing, like, if I go past those reviews and I go, oh, hey, there's somebody's review that I trust. I, usually agree with this person. That might sell me and make the shipping worth it if I'm not too fond of the shipping prices.
Okay. I disagree strongly.
You always do.
I do. Quotes as a former journalist can be misconstrued. When I see a quote, I want to see the article review so I can see what the context. The worst thing is to see a quote and no review, which I completely agree with you as well. And I rail against that when I see people do that all the time, which is why I think the quote right next to the video is so nice. All right, so we will be charging shipping after the Kickstarter conclusion based on the actual cost incurred to ship from the closest distribution center to you, delivery address. You will pay for shipping and handling plus VAT, GST, and sales tax in the pledge manager. So, so you're paying the VAT on the front end, and I would spotlight that a little bit more because this is a huge deal. There's this thing called the VAT. Essentially,
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's pretty much everyone who's not in America, mostly in like Europe, getting just absolutely jammed super hard on shipping rates. In addition to the actual shipping, they have to then pay the taxes in the back end instead of the front end. So the mail carrier, I guess, in like Europe will be like, hey, your game's here, you come have to pay $17 or $27 to come pick it up. And it's just, it sucks.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's really not good.
We're so spoiled.
We are. And sales tax or pledge measure. The following rates are shipping and handling. Only VAT and sales tax will be calculated in excess. You'll be able to see the final total for your order in the pledge manager. If you feel that the total cost of your order is unsatisfactory, you can request a 100% refund. That's cool to mention. So the Guildmaster Award, and I do like how they have this broken up. So the Guildmaster Award, which is once again...
Oh, yeah, because you're probably going to have different shipping costs depending on which one you buy.
Okay, so I do see a big red flag here that annoys the living crap out of me. Hey, dear, what's the Guildmaster pledge level? That $125 magical pledge level that they never actually talked about?
I don't know.
Exactly! That's not good! Like, that shouldn't be!
I'm not going to scroll through the page, though. I'm going to go scroll through the pledges to find it and see what I'm getting.
But the stories, like, it should be in here, though. That's my point. I'm just... this is me double-checking to make sure I didn't miss it, because I miss a lot of things.
I don't think that you did. If you missed it, then I missed it. I think they just went over the all-in.
All right, so the Guildmaster Pledge is 100... So you're focusing first shipping on what I don't even know because you didn't even really mention it that much. That annoys me. Includes all stretch goals and Kickstarter exclusive content in the Guildmaster Award from the first Kickstarter. So what the hell is that, though? That annoys the crap out of me because I don't know what this is. You're making me make an extra click. You were saying you have to go back to this previous page to even know what this pledge level is. And I don't like that. And you know what? 19 people did, but everybody else was like, nah, dog. 1,500. Well, granted, those people are just here for the expansion. And this is what I'm saying. Yeah, 1,500 as opposed to 19 and 504. So 523.
Yeah, you don't even know what's in it.
And so here's the thing, 523 new people. They got 523 new people into this, as opposed to 1,500 people who were just like, this is so awesome, I want more of that. And that's my biggest disconnect here. I don't feel like they're doing enough to get those new people, not new into the hobby, as
new to the game.
Yes, in because you have these quotes, you're ranked 1,200, you have this amazingly distinctive and unique game that draws your table appeal, it draws your eyes to it, and I don't feel like you're doing enough to advertise to those people. What's up, Darth? If the shipping prices are high, it should be lower. You are more likely to have sold them on the game by the time you see the price. If the shipping prices are low, then higher is better. And yes, I agree with that as well. So you should be self-aware of your prices and whether or not they suck. And but once again, their $189 one, they should be self-aware that that is a hell of a deal on Kickstarter, and that, I think, should be at the front door. If you really want to try and appeal to new people who have not gotten into this game yet, that's how you do
close. They made it pretty close. Like, I don't have a problem with where they put it.
But so I do want to point this out. So most people look at Kickstarter like this. Oh, that one was cool. So this is how most people see it. So this is where you need to draw their attention, which is why it's so important that if you are on the top of the popularity
$189. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, like 180. Like
$189 gets you everything for this game, and if you're already on the fence about buying it, that could push you over to click on the page.
Yeah, because the other thing is $189. I don't even bat an eye on Kickstarter anymore. So get rid of this giant funded. We know, like we see. Like, it's just... So now you see some of the nitpicks, like, why I...
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Because I know it just sounds so ridiculous, some of the things that come out of my mouth, but it's just because I look at so much. So once again, the Guildmaster Reward, which I still don't know what that is. Let's see if we can infer it. Includes all stretch goals and Kickstarter exclusive content in the Guildmaster Reward from the first Kickstarter. So does that just mean we're getting the original...
No, see, now the backers in that, however, they're like 19 or something?
Yes.
That's because they probably went and found it.
Don't make your customers go the extra mile. Don't do it.
That's why there's 19s, because they went the extra mile to go click on it to see what it was. And they're like, yes, that's right for me. I want that.
And they could have mentioned it in the pledges, and it could have been so simple. It's because you can do clickable things on here. Come check out the original to see exactly what you've been getting, and bam. Like, we know exactly what that is, and people are more likely to do it, because I think this would actually be
Especially if it opens up into, like, a new tab, you can just go right back to where you were on the other one.
Yeah. Exactly. And then the other thing is, I think this is the original game with all the original content that was part of the first Kickstarter. And if that's the case, this should be a more appealing pledge level because, you know...
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
But granted, then...
But people don't... You're not necessarily going to infer that.
Based on just what they have, I think.
Especially if you don't peruse, like, Kickstarter all that much.
Yeah, I agree. So Emissaries of the Vale. So this is $12 to get the big box. I think that's reasonable. It's a big Ticket to Ride style box. I think they haven't gave me a firm grasp of exactly how large the box is, which I normally don't like, but whatevs.
Yeah, that's the shipping.
Germany, $8. Good for you, Germany. What's up? EU 17, 25, 25, 11. So this looks like a reasonable shipping area. And then here we go. And this really this drives me even more mad because this is a spectacular price. Like, this box is huge. That's the other thing.
New Zealand.
Do you...
$110 to ship.
How large do you think the original Edge of Darkness box is, just based on what you've seen? I'm just curious.
Oh, I don't know. Dominion size?
Here we go. Now. Yeah, you just said Dominion size. Look at this. Look at this. Look how huge this box is.
Is it not Dominion size? I still don't know.
That rule booklet right there is a Ticket to Ride size box. Just that rule booklet.
The rule booklet?
Yeah, it's that big. Like, it's that large. So that kind of gives you the scope of the size of this box. That's a huge box you're getting here.
That is that's a big box.
That's why you need to hide. Like, that's... You gotta spotlight the size of the box, especially
you really do.
Because that even sells that $189 price point so much more. Germany seems to be getting really good shipping prices from all the Kickstarters lately. I've noticed that as well. Good for them. And that's why I think it's so important to zoom in on that box. Give me a firm grasp because $26 to get that massive box, and then 3 other Ticket to Ride size boxes. That's a damn good shipping rate.
Yeah.
So in and out the door, you can get all of this for $215. You will have completionist of this particular game, which is a game that's very highly rated, has awesome expansions, awesome components, and that is what they should be selling. I think that should be their first and foremost, because the people who are on... Because this is the other thing. This is, I believe, the 3rd expansion. If you're buying the 3rd expansion to the game, you're pot committed. It's not like... You know what I'm saying? Like,
true.
And so... But this all-in gameplay thing... And they only have it limited to 1,400. That's okay. Whatevs. But I just feel like that one was not spotlighted enough. Estimated additional shipping for add-ons. It may be cheaper to order add-ons. So... Looks like a reasonable shipping section. And then we get to the end. We'll check out the FAQ, the updates, the comments, and we're going to give it a grade. We're each going to give it different individual grades. That's the fun part. I used to have this really simple...
You didn't tell me I have to grade it.
Oh, yeah. It feels terrible when you give a bad grade. So what scratches do you have planned? When will I get the game? Is shipping included with the E? So it looks like a solid enough shipping... Oh, can I play the game solo or co-op? Are included, but there's... Wow! No! This should be spotlighted! You can play this... Wait, does it... I think it said 1 to 4 players, right? Correct? I think it did. But that's the other thing.
It did.
Yeah. So it did. It did.
1 to 4 players.
Okay. Oh, that's the wrong page.
We just didn't hover over it a lot.
Yes. But once again, I feel like that's something you should mention right at the front door, because if you're
But
a one...
they did. You didn't scroll down far enough.
No, they did not.
You mean on that first image?
The first image where most people don't even click on you.
I gotcha.
Like, if you're on Kickstarter, you're clicking on 15 things.
Especially if you look for a lot of solo games.
Yeah. So spotlighting 1 to 4 players, and, oh, I've heard of this game. This is a very highly rated game. I know people like this game. Sure, I'll take this journey. You know, if you're a solo gamer and you're going to play the snot out of this, $216, I think that becomes a much more reasonable thing. So the other thing is, I always recommend going and looking at Colossal Games Project Reload and how Colossal Games handles their FAQ. It's just the best way to do it. But this doesn't look like a terrible shipping FAQ, but it's just, do you really want to go through all this to find what you even want? Can the game be played by more than 4 players? Not at this time. Okay. So, updates, comments, let's check it out. 6.5, these are bad updates. These are objectively bad updates because the point of the update is to keep people updated, but more importantly, to tickle those Kickstarter algorithms so you can stay high on that popularity chart so people are more likely to see you at the top and click on your game. And right now, you have 2,000 people here, and you have 6 comments and 5 comments, which means you are not engaging them. I always recommend, you know, the easiest way to have a good update, just ask any question. Any question at all. No, it's true. It makes such a difference. I did a Kickstarter video, and they just asked, what's your favorite Western movie? And it was one of their most popular updates by a long shot, just because they engaged their audience. Because you got to realize the 1,500 people here love Edge of Darkness.
Yeah.
They already love it. They want the expansion. They're fervent for this. They're excited about this. And if you can engage them on this particular topic, they're going to want to talk about it. I mean, it's as a hobbyist, you enjoy talking about your hobby. News of the Vale. So this is like cool. We got pictures of stuff. The last time we got some theme, and then we're out. It's very important if the weakening effect is terminated permanent. I assume it's till the end of turn, and this is why I love this game. Love the new gameplay options. So these are people who are so excited about your game. They're actually going to read this and look into this card and say, oh, how's this card specifically going to work? Which, once again, is why I think you should always zoom in on those cards. Because just seeing what they do. Objectively, not objectionably. Did I say something incorrectly? That's the industry standard for me.
Yeah, not shocking with you.
And once again, this is bad, too. You're not even responding to any of these. Come on, AEG. Who's doing this? Like, this could easily have 10 comments, but instead it has 5 because you didn't respond to anything. And if you respond to thing, and I always say this is why it's so important, and let me check. I did not check. I actually just gave them a pass. Do they have collaborators on this project? Or is there only one person steering the ship? Because there's only one person steering the ship, then AEG, what the hell? Okay, good. No. So we have 2 other people along with AEG, whoever's running that.
So it tells you.
Yes, and I always think it's super important to have collaborators because that's who's going to be churning the butter, so to speak, in the comments and the updates and getting people talking.
Design and the project lead.
Yeah, and I want to show you my buddy Peter's Kickstarter. It's such a fun journey. It's such a fun damn journey. And this one it could be such a fun journey. I'd be curious if reduced demand is factored into effect of attracting new players. If you ask a person 3 times to buy your product and they haven't, how much should you invest in attracting them? That's an interesting point. But I also think there's a counterpoint to be made where how many new people are in our hobby since this game was released. You know, because
When was it first released? When was, like,
2019, I think. So
the
3
first-
years.
Okay.
But I just think that there's so many. And here's the other thing: I cover board games religiously. Like it's quite literally
It's your
my
thing.
job.
Literally your job.
And yet, still, so many games sneak past me. Where I'm like, I haven't even heard of this game. I have no idea what this game is. And so imagine if you're just a typical person who just goes to a game night once every couple weeks. Like, you don't know these things. If you don't go to game conventions, you don't see everything. You don't, I mean...
If you're not that invested, like you enjoy your game night, but you're not that invested that you're going and looking through things.
Yeah, so I think I would have took this, and I would have pitched this as, you know... I would find, so it's ranked 1,200 all time, but if you look at it at just what it is for strategy games or medium weight games, you could say top 500 Euro games of all time, according to Board Game Geek, Rondo's 2019 Game of the Year, yada, 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 from this acclaimed track record. I think they should have went at it from that perspective, because, like I said, the people who love this game, they already know. They just want more. But yeah, so we have 5 comments here, and once again... no question, you're not getting people engaged. Not fond of these yay, funded in 27 seconds types of news. Listen to your super backers. They are your bread and butter. Super backers will bend over backwards and do anything for you. And I'm assuming... Can you read that? My eyes are weird.
What am I reading?
I'm trying to read this person's name because I
Oh,
love
no,
them.
I have no idea.
Lajanus Thomas, not fond of these yay funded in 27 seconds types of news. When you've seen projects being canceled after reaching their announced goal because of too few backers, yes, the relaunch, you understand that these numbers are calibrated to allow for such effects because it's one of the basic cognitive bias, the confirmation one. We love to know we've made the right choice to support you, and it helps others decide what they do to the right choice in joining a project that is too successful. So yes, it's great. Yes, I'm happy for you and for a game I love, but come on, did you really have any doubt about it? Yes. Like, bring some beef. Bring some beef. Or, you know what?
I mean, she's got a point. You've been saying it from the get-go. We don't need to know that it's been funded. Obviously, it's going to be funded.
Yes. They totally have a point.
It's from a company that is well-established. AEG knows what they're doing. And if they're making a Kickstarter that's not getting funded, then what are they doing wrong?
I want to throw an idea out to you. And I suggest this idea on a lot of these. What if the first update is, yay, we're funded, spectacular. We want to reach out to our core audience, the people who were here first. You are clearly deep into this. What do you think we should be spotlighting and highlighting more? How do you think we should be getting this out to more people so we can make this game as, oh, there's no stretch goals or unlocks. Okay. That's a whole other bugaboo. We did not see any stretch goals or any unlocks, which is okay. It's going to make it really hard. I noticed that Flamecraft is putting a question at the end of all their updates. Publishers are listening. Yes, Peter actually mentioned that last night. I'm good friends with Peter. There's actually a forest dragon in that game, but he was talking about how successful...
The one that he's talking about?
Yes, Flamecraft, which is the one I wanted. Like, it's such a fun journey to go on that Kickstarter. But if instead of you asked her, like, how do you think we could better... Or them, because I don't know.
Yeah, what do you want to see on the updates as opposed to... Yeah, ask your super backers those questions.
Ask
Why aren't
all
you?
your backers that question. But yeah.
Well, yes, but I mean, like, your super backers, like you said, are...
Oh my gosh, you guys are being a little bit lazy here. Come on now, stop phoning it in. Get someone other than the intern making posts, please. But luckily, no one's actually reading this because they don't give a damn about your comments because they're not commenting back. So AEG, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. And so it's just, these could be incredibly engaged. Because here's the other thing. This is going to sink like a rock, which is part of the reason why I think they only made it a 10-day campaign. Because there's no excitement. There's no buzz here. There's nothing to make you come back. Because what keeps you high on the popularity chart is people routinely coming back, which is typically done by unlocks, stretch goals, contests, anything like that. And we see none of this. Which is just, it's somewhat disappointing there. But we do see them in there, all good, and welcome to day 3. It looks like all the questions and comments raised overnight have received helpful answers. One thing we want to clarify, though, regards the pledge manager. Historically, we use the yada yada yada, so the timing of the campaign will, okay. Okay, Total Newbie here. Looking at the videos, I'm hoping the original huge box has enough space in it for the expansions as well. Also Newbie, but FAQ says the OG box will not fit in the expansion. And I do want to say, this is not typically... Wait. Oh, so he's a newbie to the game. Okay. But anywho, this is just... I'm very curious to see how this is going to do 3 days from now, 4 days from now. It is funny you say that. I backed the previous 3 and got an email about this game a month ago. It felt more like, and did work on me, the marketing was complete, the vision, and your set. Okay. So they're doing the back-end stuff. So they got the huge launch of this project. They got the $167,000. But I always say this. It's not just about launching your boat. You got to paddle it along the freaking way. And I don't see anything here paddling. I buy this. I don't come back. There's no reason. 100%. There's nothing here exciting. There's nothing here engaging. And so you have these 2,000 core fans, or the 1,400 core fans?
1,500.
Yeah. They're not coming back. Are they? And if you're not appealing to those new people, I'm very curious to see where this ranks on the popularity chart over the next few days. And I think they knew that, which I think is why they only did a 10-day thing. But yeah, so Edge of Darkness, final grade on this one. Do I want it? Yeah, I know. It used to be really simple, a 0, a 1, or a 2, and then someone's like, you should do a grade. You're sweet. And I was like, yeah, I'll do a grade. And then it's like, oh, God. Because there's so many things to factor in. You know, because do I want it? Can you do it? How much is it? They're all answered, and they're answered relatively early, and the prices are damn good. It has everything it needs, but just everything around it is just like, you could have done so much better. So I'm giving this a C-. I just expected more, AEG. It could be so much better. It could be much more exciting and more engaging, and it's not. And it doesn't look like it. And you're getting called out for it, even in your comments, which you're not even responding to. Like, you have 2 collaborators, damn it. And that's what I always say. I make a joke. I say, get your grandma to collaborate for you, because literally, most of the questions in here could be responded by anyone. Anyone at all. Like, you could respond to those, couldn't you? You say, we're trying our best here. What's some feedback for how we could potentially do this better? What would you like to see? Like, it's so easy, but they're just not doing it. Great, man.
I mean, the intern. The intern could respond, and they're not. Grade, I was thinking a C.
Okay. So we're both on the same wavelengths.
Just because it could be a lot better.
It could. It has everything it needs, but it's just... It looks like they're comfortable.
It's all there. It was not until we got to, like, the updates and stuff, seeing that they're not responding to their own people.
It looks bad. Everyone sees it.
That made it worse.
Everyone sees that if they click on it.
You gotta engage.
Because, and here's the other thing. If you engage, and if you see, oh, wow, I'm not going to get left hanging. Someone's going to respond to this no matter what. You're more likely to engage. You're more likely to jump in on that sub chat. And it's just...
And like you said, it tickles, and I'm wondering...
Tickle those
like
algorithms.
the people, yeah, it tickles those algorithms.
It's a hand.
And it is. I did the hand motion with it. And it's like, I wonder if the people running that realize that.
I don't know. They should. It's a big company.
I mean, they should.
Check out the 3 links down below if you're more interested. Not my link, but they talk about all about tickling that Kickstarter algorithm. Agreed with the rating. There's no effort, and they are comfortable. And that's another issue that I should make a video about this. People getting comfortable.
They are writing his name.
John D. Clair's name on this one, and I love this game. Yeah, well, John D. Clair deserves a little, like, you're putting respect on his name, but not much else.
I mean, yeah.
So, Edge of Darkness, expansion, Emissaries of the Vale, C- and a C. But let us know in the comments below, what grade would you give this Kickstarter? And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube. Oh, I was going to say something else, but I decided not to do it.